Let's be honest, the term AI is thrown around constantly. It feels like this dense digital jungle full of buzzwords and bots, and it's really easy to feel lost. But what if you had a map? Well, today, that's exactly what we're going to give you. We're going to break down the entire AI ecosystem layer by layer.
Right? It's on your phone, it's in the news, it's at your job. AI is everywhere. And it's so often talked about like it's this one single, massive thing. But is it really? The truth is actually way more interesting.
It's definitely not one thing. A much better way to think about it is as a sprawling, living ecosystem, with different layers, all sorts of specialized players, and tons of interconnected parts, all working together just like in a real rainforest.
And so, this is your map for that journey. We're going to peel back the layers of this AI ecosystem together, starting from the apps you literally use every day and digging all the way down to the silicon chips that make any of this possible.
Okay, let's start at the surface, the first layer of the onion, you could say. This is the part of the AI world you already know, the AI you can actually see and touch. It's in your apps, it's the algorithm that suggests your next song, and it's the tech that might one day drive your car. These right here are the big stars of the show. You've got self-driving cars, all that wild generative AI that's creating text and images out of thin air, and of course, the recommender systems that somehow know what movie you want to watch before you do. They're all different applications, each one designed for a very specific task.
But what these applications do is only half the story. The other, equally important part is how we as people actually interact with them. Because it's not just about typing into a search bar anymore. The way we talk to machines is a frontier that's changing incredibly fast.
A perfect example of this is conversational AI. This is the magic that lets you talk to your smart speaker or get help from a customer service chatbot. The whole point is for it to understand us and talk back in a way that feels natural, human-like.
So now let's go a layer deeper. What is actually going on inside that chatbot or that recommender system? Now we're getting into the models and the data. This is the very brain of the operation. First things first, we have to get this crucial distinction out of the way. All, and I mean all, the AI we have today is narrow AI. It's a specialist. It's designed to do one specific job really, really well, whether that's playing a game or generating a picture. The sci-fi idea of a general AI that has human-level reasoning, well, that's still just theory. It does not exist yet.
So, how do these narrow AIs actually think? Well, many of the most powerful ones you hear about, like GPT, are built on an architecture called the transformer. Its big breakthrough, the thing that changed the game, is its ability to understand context in long strings of words. That's what lets it generate text that sounds so coherent and so human.
For images, it's often a different architecture taking the lead, the diffusion model. And the process here is just fascinating. It starts with pure random noise, like static on an old TV, and then, step by step, it refines that chaos into a clear picture, all based on your text prompt. It's pretty wild.
But look, none of these models can learn anything without fuel. And for an AI, that fuel is data. Massive, massive amounts of it. We're talking huge libraries of text, billions of images, audio files, spreadsheets, or even a mix of all of the above, which we call multimodal data. This is what trains the AI to understand the world.
So, we've seen the brain. Now let's go check out the factory, where that brain is actually built. This layer is all about the tools, the building techniques, and all the heavy machinery you need to create and run an AI model from the ground up.
At its very core, an AI learns in one of three main ways. There's supervised learning, which is like a student studying with a textbook and an answer key. It's learning from data we've already labeled. Then you have unsupervised learning, where it's given a giant messy pile of data and told to go find the hidden patterns on its own. And finally, there's reinforcement learning. That's all about trial and error, where it gets rewarded for good decisions, kind of like training a puppy with treats.
Now, developers almost never build these things totally from scratch. They use a stack of tools. This usually starts with basic frameworks. Then they'll often grab a massive, pre-trained foundation model to use as a starting point. And finally, they use a whole bunch of other specialized tools and unique databases to kind of orchestrate all the moving parts and make the AI work efficiently.
And as you can imagine, all of this requires a staggering amount of computational power. Most of the time, this comes from huge cloud platforms packed with specialized hardware. But sometimes, the whole process is flipped on its head. Instead of your data going to the cloud, the AI model runs directly on your phone or your smart speaker. And that's what's known as Edge AI.
Okay, for our final layer, we're going to zoom all the way out. because technology like this doesn't just exist in a vacuum. It's shaped by people, by business models, and by a whole growing web of ethical rules and principles.
This ecosystem is shaped by a really diverse cast of people. It's not just the engineers and data scientists in the factory. It's the researchers dreaming up what's next. It's the regulators trying to set the rules of the road. And of course, it's all of us, the end users. Our interactions are what ultimately determine what succeeds and what fails. And all these stakeholders are generally operating within one of two main philosophies. You've got open source AI, where the code and the models are shared freely for anyone to build on. And then you have proprietary AI, where a company keeps its model a closely guarded secret. Both of these approaches are pushing innovation, just in very different ways.
And finally, woven through this entire ecosystem is a huge, critical, ongoing conversation about governance. People are asking really big questions. How do we make these complex systems explainable? How do we build them to be fair and safe? How do we make sure they're aligned with human values? These aren't just afterthoughts. They're absolutely central to shaping the future of AI.
So, that's our map of the AI ecosystem. From the apps on your phone, all the way down to the principles that guide them. Understanding how all these pieces connect is really the first step. The real question, though, is now that we can see the whole landscape, where do we choose to go next?